Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Loughran, and this is my partner in crime, Helene Marsh. And we are here today to talk to you about our project, which I'm realizing it should be titled, Your Eyes Are Bigger Than Your Stomach. But in essence, we set out to convince 8 of the municipalities in Marin and the county of Marin to purchase 100% renewable electricity, hopefully starting by July of 2017. There are 11 municipalities in Marin, so we knew right from the get-go that we weren't going to have to do all of them, but we were going to have to do a big group. And the reason I say our eyes were bigger than our stomach is one of the things we didn't know is that they all work differently. Every single one of them operates differently. And we now know a lot about that. But why did we do this? Everybody's seen this chart, and it shows greenhouse gases just pretty much going through the roof. Not only is there an environmental and a moral imperative to reduce greenhouse gases, it's also specific reductions are required of municipalities by state law, and more aggressive mandates are on the way. Why we chose going to 100% renewable energy as a tactic to reduce greenhouse gases, that one of the biggest reasons is that it's an incredibly cost-effective way to do it. And so what you're looking at here is the cost per metric ton of carbon dioxide reduced. And Deep Green, which is MCE's 100% renewable product, is about $67 per metric ton. Well, you can see the range, according to the California Legislative Analyst's Office, is $4 to $725. So this is a very cost-effective way. In fact, a lot of the ones sort of down at $4 aren't something that would be available to a municipality anyway. Also, this is a reduction strategy that's 100% within the government control. So rather than trying to, for example, get your employees to take public transportation to work or to get them to compost, this is something that you can just do. Those other things are necessary as well. This is just faster and easier, so why not do it first? Also, as Corey spoke about different municipalities and their climate action plans, most of them have something around 100% renewable electricity with respect to their own personal strategies to go deep green.
What is that less than 6% increase?
That is overall the cost increase to the municipalities to go deep green would be less than 6% increase in what they pay for electricity.
So this is where we started, and basically it shows who was and wasn't purchasing renewable electricity. So on the left column are the 4 communities we started with, and Belvedere and Fairfax actually have been customers of MC Deep Green since 2010, San Anselmo and Sausalito since 2014. We actually didn't know Sausalito was a Deep Green customer when we started, but we found that out from staff once we worked on the project. And then all the others were the ones who weren't. So there were 7 other towns and cities, and the county of Marin were all light green customers, which is MC's 52% renewable product. So as Sarah mentioned, there's a cost associated with going to deep green. It's 1 cent per kilowatt hour. And here you'll see the black numbers. We thought those were the numbers that we were given when we first started the project in terms of, what it was going to cost each municipality and the county to go to deep green. So that's an additional cost to their electricity. But then we discovered over the course of a few months that, in fact, thanks to renewable energy efficiency measures they'd taken and also to installing solar installations, that they actually had reduced their costs. So the red numbers were the new costs. So we are crazy. We admit we were crazy when we embarked on this project. We had no idea what we'd actually set out to do. But we also learned that you just take 1 step at a time. So we probably also drove people crazy, but we did make mistakes along the way, and we'll probably make some more as we continue. But it's just 1 step at a time. So the first part, the advocacy phase one, was really about gathering information. So we spoke to a lot of different people, and we read all the climate action plans in the community. And then we decided we can't do this on our own, we need supporters. So we then went out and we created a statement of support, and we got 19 local eco groups to support us. Then we went to MC and we told them what we want to do, and they said, "You're crazy." So we concluded we were, but we in fact got a lot of support from them, and they were able to provide the towns and cities that we were working with updated information, the costs that everybody needed to know. And then we started going to all the staff people in the towns and the cities and talking to them about what the challenges were, what their issues might be, confirming the costs and so on. And what we learned was that we had to be flexible because, as Sarah said, not every community works the same. And we also realized there's a range of expertise because, we have Corey Bitoff at San Rafael, who's incredibly knowledgeable. We really appreciated his help. We have the staff at the County of Marin, but then you have a lot of small municipalities who don't have sustainability staff. So we also met with council members to learn who would be supportive and who might present a challenge. And here are the supporting organizations we worked with, so the 19 groups who were incredibly helpful, and without them I don't think we could have done this project because they provided us with guidance, with members to join us in hearings, they provided support, and frankly a lot of credibility, I think. So it was also great making a whole new community of friends. So phase two of the project, I would say, was really actually doing the advocacy work, and that involved going to town and city council meetings or the Board of Supervisors. We've been to 11 of those so far. We probably have another 4 to attend. And to each one, we brought 6 or 12 speakers, and we prepared draft talking points for them. And of course, Sarah and I also spoke, and we had our own talking points. Some of the things that we learned is you have to be well organized to be an effective advocate at these hearings, and you also have to be flexible because things change at the last minute, the agendas change, dates change. You have to be strategic in terms of who you're inviting to come and speak. And patience is a virtue because these hearings are 2 hours long or more sometimes. So, and then we had a lot of follow-up work because we needed to thank our supporters, thank the council members if they voted deep green. We had to, keep our supporters informed of where we stood. So there was a lot of follow-up after each of the meetings. And one of the other things that we did was we encouraged our supporting groups to ask their members to write supportive advocating letters to each of the cities and councils. So then we drafted template letters so that it would make it easy for them. So we were trying to get as many people involved as possible. And frankly, we often questioned what we were doing because we hadn't done this before, so it was definitely a new experience.
Okay. So this is where we are. So what this chart represents is the metric tons of carbon dioxide that could be reduced if everybody that hadn't gone deep green went deep green. And so to date, if you look over on the left-hand side, you'll see Corte Madera, Larkspur, and Novato have all gone deep green, which is really fantastic and just really, really exciting. What I circled here is what we're fairly confident about. So the next is Mill Valley. That's a meeting that's coming up in a couple weeks. That's the yellow bar. The blue bar in the middle is the county. By far the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases just because of the size of their operation. Staff has recommended that they go deep green. 3 of the 3 council members that we've met with or supervisors are like, we're there. So we are pretty confident that this is going to be passed as part of the 17-18 budget. And then you'll think it's odd that I have it halfway through San Rafael. That's not because we're halfway certain of this. It's because we think they're going to go halfway. In other words, what they're going to do is do this in a budget neutral way. They're going to use savings that they have garnered from the installation of solar to pay for as much deep green as they can, which is going to be about halfway. Lastly, Ross and Tiburon, we don't really know yet. So we're continuing to talk to them. Cumulatively, their total is not even $5,000. It's just a work in progress, and we're really hopeful to get one or both of them even by July 1st. what this means, or I think an important point here, is this is annual emissions. This is not just a one-time thing. This is every single year. So what we've either done or we're confident about would equate to almost 8 million pounds of carbon dioxide every year, or about 8.7 million passenger miles, vehicle miles. So we are really, really excited about what the county has collectively with our partners that we've been able to accomplish. Timing has been absolutely critical here. And the reason for that is just, I don't think a year ago anyone could have done this, in the sense that the political climate was really right with the Trump administration. I think local governments are feeling like they really need to step up. Also, Helene pointed out that there had been some cost reductions due to solar and efficiency, so it was less expensive than it would have been. Also, our city governments are, more flush, certainly, than they were a few years ago. And lastly, we were able to tack onto some greenhouse gas inventories that were being presented by Christine O'Rourke to all the cities and towns. And that gave us the ability to comment during the council meetings at a time at which the city councils could respond to us and we could actually have a conversation. So there was a lot of things that really aligned. We've learned a lot, certainly. I would say that at what point are we just annoying is a big one for us. Sort of, after a while you feel like you're pestering people. We always try to bring new things to the table, but that's been interesting. And also just, it's in retrospect, well, as I said, we didn't exactly know what we were biting off here, but by just taking little steps, we found that sort of one thing has led to another. Next up, so Corey mentioned this, but municipal emissions for electricity are only 3% of the total. So while we're really excited about this, what we know we've gotten a lot of progress on 3%, which is like, okay, well that's great. And we knew that when we started. But what we thought was important is if we could get governments to go deep green, that then they could be in a better position to leverage that and lead their residents and businesses to go deep green. So, but Helene and I plan to, our next step in this is to start working as advocates to get residents and businesses to go deep green. And that's it. Questions?